Hey,
Hi,
Jennifer.
hi, Catherine.
So nice to see you.
Yeah, so nice to see you too. It's so nice to celebrate together our the launch of our book.
Yeah, totally. So, yeah, we just spent 10 minutes trying to figure out how to go live on on Instagram and we we said we're going to go whole school, so decided to record this, but yeah, I'm going to introduce myself. I'm Catherine Tetreault-Ayotte. I'm a transformational mentor. I'm the creatrix of the community Women Who Rise Up. And I'm so excited. Yeah, I'm so excited to kind of like unwind the day here with you, Jen. Because, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Catherine. Yes, I'm Jennifer Ackad, everybody. I'm the founder of the Authentic Woman You Are Transformation System. I'm super honored to have been part of this book and to have collaborated with Catherine. And yes, we are excited. We want to speak a little bit into the book, into a bit what we do and why the book is important for us and why we feel it's important for our planet right now. So, Catherine, let me start asking you a question if you want. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I just want to say that, you know, I think together, we've experienced like pretty much all the postures of collaboration that you can think of. And I
Yeah.
find that's really interesting. Since, we've shared like sister circles, we've shared, collaborating in a book as colleagues, we've been in spaces of a teacher, students, or mentor, mentoree, and it's just been really like a 360. And then we've shared spaces where we're both students with the same teacher,
True.
and so I just find that interesting that we got to experience kind of like that 360. So it's good. It's really deep to be able to experience all those layers
Yeah,
of
it's a
relations.
different, yeah, different types of relationship, and what it gives me inspiration to speak into is about flexibility and how collaboration is about also being flexible but clear. You know.
Mm, yeah, yeah. What's the at? What's the posture? What's the intention?
Totally. So
Yeah.
let's dive a little bit into creation, Catherine, and what is for you conscious creation?
Mm,
And in relation to the book that we just gave birth to, like conscious creation.
yeah. Thank you. And so for me, in relation to the book, was really about letting go of execution. For me, that was the old paradigm of my conditioning of just like pushing and getting things done, and being tops at school, and like being on the board of directors, and getting the stuff done, and having the results. So it was really about execution and managing, finding solutions. And so ever since, I've had my transformational journey, which is obviously ongoing. I really tapped into this other way of doing things, which is not about executing, but it's really about consciousness and intentionality. So when I'm anchored in intentionality, then and I create space to receive the answers, then it gets shown to me what has to be done in like an organic flow with the right things. And see how just even when I talk, I feel like so much smoother. um, so instead of kind of like being, where my mind becomes really demanding, and you have to do this and do that because it has to be perfect, and like I can see in all the ways that I can overdo things to make them perfect. But when I'm anchored in an intention, what really matters gets gets shown to me, and that becomes my anchor. So that's like the center is the essence. um, and so when I'm consciously creating, I really need to keep on nourishing that intention. And that becomes my compass, is when I know when I'm off track or not. um, and I receive the information from a conscious source, which is bigger than me. So consciously creating is listening to what's required for me, but also for the collective. So as a certified ritualist, when we organize rituals for the collective, that's what we tap into, is what's needed. And so and so this gets shown to you, this get yeah, this gets nourished, and so it's a complete different dynamic, that's really amazing to discover. It's just really fascinating because there's no book, there's no how to actually, like, there is a book. It's the one we wrote, and it's the first, it's probably the first of many, that open a window into that other realm of creating with the forces that are visible and the forces that are invisible.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, so conscious creation is really about anchoring into an intention. It's about, listening to what is required for myself and for the collective. And, and it's about listening to the cues from the invisible and the visible also, because often the opportunities are shown to you by the life force, and it's about saying yes to it. And
Yes,
so, yeah. And
totally.
so what's, I know you can relate to that.
Yes, I
So I'd
can.
like to know what is conscious creation for you? How do you experience it? How do you see it?
Yes, totally. I mean, I really relate with what you're sharing. And as I'm going to answer this question right now, what I'm doing is I bring presence in my womb and I start centering to see again what wants to emerge from my womb space to create. So I feel grounded again in that womb space. And what for me conscious creation is about is first feeling safe within ourselves. So like in the book, I'm in the theme of collaboration with self, and it's all about connecting and being super super intimate with yourself first before going out and collaborating with others. And the conscious creation process for me is all about bringing this attention into what you're designed to create also. It's at the embodied level, and it's about bringing that seed in and allowing the body to give birth to whatever needs to be born. And it's a very tangible process of rebirth, and I think you can relate to that too. We're speaking about this just before jumping on the interview. We yes. So conscious creation for me, it has a lot to do with everything you shared. Actually, like everything you shared, it's really in the lines of what conscious creation is for me. And what I want to add um, is that it's so important to bring important. It's so important to honor the body, the needs, the calling, and what's encrypted inside, rather than just being an idea of. Because what happens, we can have tons of ideas, we can be called by something, but if we're not bringing that intention in the body and make the journey through the body, we start being disaligned. We start taking actions that really tire our nervous system. So it's important to acknowledge what we are as a body, to honor everything that the body is asking from us in terms of action, and then we collaborate. We
Mm.
start collaborating with the intention that you were naming. So I really see collaboration with self and collaboration with spirit as, it's one thing that complete each other, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah,
totally. Oh my God, totally. Collaboration with self is kind of the anchor. Like you said, it's the roots.
it's the roots.
Yeah.
It's the roots to feel
Yeah.
safe, to feel safe in oneself, to be able to actually give birth to a baby, whether it's a book, a baby, or project, and to be able to sustain it, to nurture it, to hold it, to create a community around it, to have it have a ripple effect on the planet, and not just be like kind of a quickie. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's it's a,
Yeah.
it's a long time, it's a long term commitment. You know?
Mm, totally. Oh my God, totally. And it's interesting that you're naming commitment and birthing, because that's how I I started my chapter. I'm writing about collaboration with spirit, and I wrote about, collaborating with spirit is a bit like a woman in labor. When it starts, like, there's no way you can stop the process. Like, the baby has to come out. So like there's no way. And I mean, for those of you who gave birth, like, there's a moment where you're like, shit, am I going to be able to do it? Like, can I stop this? Because the contractions, they come, you have like a minute to stop, and it's just so intense, like. And so, and there's really a moment, like, I mean, the transition, like, at first it's very, very intense. Then it's like there's a transition when you're like at 8 or 9,
Yeah.
centimeters open. And so that moment, everything kind of stops. And then you're like, oh, am I going to be able to do it? Like, do I have enough energy to keep going? Because the push is coming,
Yeah.
and like there's this baby has to come out. And so, yeah, the commitment is to birth the baby. Like, it's your design is to birth the baby.
It's to birth the baby, and to realize also that the most uncomfortable part is the birthing. You know,
Mm.
we can desire, we can have the calling to become a mother, whatever mother we are, a baby, project, whatever. And then it can be in our heart, we can feel the project or the baby in our heart, like we envision it, we see it, we can even like feel it, the visions are clear.
Mm.
But the toughest part, the most challenging part, and this is, the challenge of life challenging you. Are you committed? Do you really want this? Is when it actually goes down.
Mm.
It's like, and then it makes its journey down, belly button, down the roots, through the canal, and then it's like out in the world. And then your legs, are they solid enough? Are they grounded? Do you feel safe? Do you feel supported? Very root. Then the baby feels safe and can actually grow in its essence. Because the baby has a form, but it has an intention, like you said, right?
Mm.
And it's meant to grow organically also, just as we want to be growing organically to share our gifts. That baby is not ours. It's something that we were able to channel into the world, but it has its own organic flow. So we are the mothers of those babies, right? Those books
Yeah.
or projects.
Yeah, and that's why when you can relate to something bigger than you, it's actually supportive to know that it's not just for you, it's for something bigger. For me, I find that very inspiring, and it kind of moves me out of the way when I can, kind of, yeah, have that perspective.
Yeah.
um, and what was resonating about the commitment was, that what I always say is that there's something that comes, there's there's a threshold, there's a yes, and then there's a crossing to do the harvest. And
Yeah.
so, but if you don't have a clear choice, a clear yes, it's always wobbly, and it never really, starts the process. um, and when you have a clear yes, then everything gets shown to you at what do you have to cross to reap that. And
Yeah.
that's where it gets tough, because then you have to clear the old paradigm, the old conditioning, that everything gets shown to you what's not aligned, actually.
Oh my
And
gosh.
so and that's what, like, we can open to kind of like the second layer of our questions, and going to a bit more of our chapters. But for me, when I said yes to this book, I didn't realize how much it was going to ask me to do some clearing on the traumas that I had in relation to the competition, the unhealthy masculine, which had to do with, I mean, traumas at work, in the workplace, with, with partners, with my dad, with, like, and I mean, it was my own healing to do. It was not their fault. It was taking responsibility for, I don't want to identify to that anymore. Like, I want to send peace and love and compassion, but I had to let go of the hurt.
For the story of the
The
hurt, huh?
story of the hurt. It was like, oh my God, I have to forgive. And this came through really the process of writing the book in our weekly meetings. um, and that's kind of the healing layer. And then once that took place, the second part was kind of like the creation part of, like, okay, creating with spirit. If I'm really aligned and in integrity, it means that I trust what spirit sends me. And spirit sent me really a clear path this year of doing a huge paradigm shift for myself and for my tribe. And so being all in with my commitment meant to walk my talk. And that required, collaboration with my tribe to be like, okay, we're doing this, and it just came organically because it was real. It was aligned. So we're packing our stuff, and we're moving to Costa Rica. I know you have roots there. You're, you know, at least halfway of the year there already.
Yeah. We'll
So
see each other
you know
there
this
also.
path.
Yes,
What?
I said we'll meet there also.
Yes.
But yes, it's yes, like I want to tune into what wants to be shared, for the book also. And yeah, I'm listening to you, Catherine, at this point. Like it's like the process of the book, whatever we each of us authors went through writing the book, this is what also people are going to receive through reading the chapters. It's the opportunity of healing that they will receive, and the frequency that in each chapter in the whole book that they will receive, and that will transform their lives. And that's why, I mean, like we became bestsellers today, like #1 international bestseller. And it's not about the bestseller, but the fact that we are bestseller will actually give the opportunity to many people to be able to receive that book. And I insist on the word receive the book. It's like opening yourselves to receive the codes of that book, and the magic that can happen, and the transformation and the shifts that can happen in your life. And that's what's so touching about giving birth to a book. But it's more the intention of spirit that is channeled into a book. So that's that's how I would love to, yeah, kind of close this conversation also, to really go into the impact of that book on people, and collaboration with self, collaboration with spirit, collaboration in community or business. It's all linked, because we have to deal with those 4 areas in life all the time, and all relationships.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you want to share about collaboration with self or with spirit in regards to, your own journey?
Yes, I
As
mean,
you said yes.
as I said, yes, yes. I mean, the book came to me. You're the one who introduced me to the book, actually. And for me, it was clear, because competition was, when I was young, was never making any sense. I remember at a very, very young age, I was in gymnastics or ice skating or volleyball or whatever, all of those things. And every time they were asking me to compete and go win medals and stuff, my body would freeze, and I would question. I would be like, why do I need to do this? Why do that? I could not comprehend this. But behind this, what I want to be sharing is that the knowing inside of myself was that when we truly love something and we're totally total in an art, the competition dissolves. There's no real comparison, because you're so immersed, you're so total in your art, in the love of what you're doing, that whatever you do is good. Like it has value. It offers the quality of love to others, and there's no space there's no mind space to go out and compare. You are so total and present in your art that it takes all the place, and there's no space for competition. So I had this in my heart when I was a kid, but I was growing up seeing a split. I was growing up seeing something that was not portraying what I could feel inside. So I always felt weird in any type of environment where there was competition. And that's why I decided to say yes to the book. And I introduced the book with a little bit of that story, but mainly that that all of us are unique, and that we are born in a certain design, and we all have our unique colors. And if each individual owns up to their design and they embody who they are truly, uh, I mean, we enter into true collaboration, because at that point there's no comparison, there's no competition, there's no jealousy, because nobody can replace you. It's impossible. So that's how I approached the book, and that's why I decided to jump in also.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing. It's just, yeah, I'm really grateful. It feels like we're closing something that we opened. Like
Yeah.
this talk feels like an integration talk about like our day, because today was launch day and this is recorded, so you might watch this later, but today was launch day, and there was definitely a lot of like excitement and things to do, the mechanics of it, and unknown. So this feels good. This feels really grounded to kind of go back to the intention and look at the journey. So
Yeah,
I'm really
I love
grateful
that.
for that.
Yeah, and as you say this, going back to the intention, always remembering, and this goes to what you were sharing at the beginning, that it's the intention carrying us.
Mm.
It's really the intention. So remembering the intention is that's what our life is about. It's our path is about integrating that intention, embodying that intention to share it with the world. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's how this book is so relevant, because there's so much of a quest for more meaning right now in the world. Like, just the quickies and the quick fix just don't work anymore. Like shopping, or like doing the things right and having the right job, or it just doesn't, the glass of wine on Friday and Saturday, like, it's just, there's still that thing that you're looking for, right? It's that quest for more depth, more meaning. And so it's consciousness, really. It's having more consciousness into what you're creating, what you're doing. So this is kind of the seed that we're spreading through this book out in the world. And the book was a conscious creation. it
Yeah,
really
even
it really was.
it it, it is Crystal who gathered us, child channeled an intention, and it was very clear. And even the design, and if we look at the logo in our backgrounds, I mean, oops, it's the other side, just there. It's a code, it's sacred geometry, it's a code, it's a frequency. And somebody who's very sensitive could even just keep the hands on the book and receive the codes, because it's an energy. But that's very much in the invisible, but it's encoded. The whole book is encoded. That's why I share. That's why I insist again on receive the book. It's about opening up to receive. You're going to write, your intellect is going to try to understand, but beyond the intellect and beyond the understanding, there's a field of energy that is going to touch your field of energy, and that will start shifting. It will start reprogramming you. And that's what ultimately we want. We are a bridge to a new paradigm, and we want to support as many people as possible to shift into that new frequency that holds the codes of these books and the intention of these books and the chapters. And it doesn't need an effort. It looks like it. I mean, it requires you to open up and be curious to receive this first, and you will see how it's going to start shifting your thoughts. It's going to start shifting a lot inside, and you're going to be inspired to take new action. And we are here to support. Both Catherine and myself are here to support with our communities and with our creations, co-creations maybe, that are coming. and let's see where life is going to guide us, self and spirit.
Yes,
Collaboration.
totally,
Yeah.
totally. Thank you so much, Joy, to share this space with you,
Yeah.
Jennifer
Thank you.
Ackad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks,
S-
Catherine.
So yeah, so I think, I mean, let's wrap this up,
Yeah.
and so yeah, may you receive deeper through this book. And so thank you so much for tuning in, and be in touch through direct messages or commenting on this video if there's anything that resonates and that you would like to share. Okay.
Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you so much love to all of you, and we are here to support and answer questions if you have.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye.